Hello and welcome to the Clever Fox YouTube channel. My name is Ilysse and today we are talking about goals. I have my Clever Fox Weekly Planner Pro with time slots here, and believe it or not, we are halfway through the year. I can't believe it. I feel like I blinked and now all of a sudden it's July. Today we are going to take a look at my quarterly goals from quarter 2 and see where I succeeded and where I had some challenges, and then use those lessons to set some goals for quarter 3 to include July, August, and September. If you are interested in goal setting and you want some tips and tricks, make sure that you watch this whole video so you don't miss anything that I'm sharing today. And also make sure that you are subscribed to our channel and you have that notification bell turned on so that you don't miss any future videos. Let's dive in. We're going to get started by taking a look at my 3-month goals. And what's really interesting about this year is I feel like each time I set quarterly goals, things change. This year is probably the biggest year of transition that I've experienced since maybe 2020. And so I'm learning a lot as I go along, and I'm going to share a lot of what I'm learning with you. So we set these 3-month goals, and I think that I first want to talk about how things have changed a little bit in the last 3 months, and then we'll kind of dive into these. So 3 months ago was April. It was April, May, and June for these 3-month goals. And in February, my boyfriend and I started living together. So that was an adjustment. And I think that I thought by April it would be, I was going to be used to the adjustment. But what I learned was that it's kind of like a 4-month adjustment period that it really took to be able to kind of find our new groove. And we're actually about to embark on another adjustment period in a season of transition. So with that, I found myself feeling, not only because of the move, but I had 2 trips in April and May. I had a massive project I was working on, and I just felt very overwhelmed, and I was having trouble finding my rhythm again, my routine. What is this like new lifestyle look like for me? And so I kind of pulled back on a lot of my goals, and a lot of things suffered as a result. My home that I had worked so hard to organize in January kind of got like a little in disarray again. My health definitely took a toll. My finances were okay, but I found myself like impulse spending a little bit more. And so I definitely am coming into looking at the last 3 months knowing that I did not achieve everything that I wanted to, but it's put me in a really good place to set up for the next 3 months. So let's take a look at what my 3-month goals were and whether or not I accomplished them. So reach my goal weight and exercise healthy. This didn't happen. I got some blood work recently, and the results may indicate why I'm having trouble with weight. And so that is something that I'm definitely continuing to make progress on and work with the medical team on. Goal number 2, shift to a slightly part-time schedule by 5/18. This did not happen because there was a lot of uncertainty in the economy. It's still there, but there is now a game plan for this schedule moving forward. Goal number 3, reach 1 year of bills saved and live on less. I did reach 1 year of bills saved, and I'm so excited about it. And I have been practicing living on less. Goal number 4, map out our year and settle into living together. We've definitely settled into living together. The challenge with mapping out our year is that things just changed in the last week. So my boyfriend just got a new job that is going to not only change what our year looks like, but also change like our week and his schedule and all of that. So it's definitely another adjustment period that we're about to embark on. And then goal number 5 is looking at the calendar and reaching out for plans, because I want to spend more time with family and friends. And my friends and I have been really good about doing that. It's not just, let's get together. It's, I want to go here. What day are you free? And we go back and forth until we find a day that we are both free. So with that said, knowing what the next couple of months are looking like, I'm ready to set up goals for the next 3 months. I'm also going into the next 3 months that are going to be very busy. July is busy, August is busy, and September, I don't really have much, but I feel like September is always a month that I spend catching up from what I missed over the summer, just in my own personal life. But I'm coming into these months with a little bit more intentionality and plans on certain focuses that I'd like to have. We're going to stick with the same types of colors because I like color coding and I feel like it's really visual when I see it from one quarter to the next. So goal number 3 is going to be continue working on improving my health. Why I want it is to take better care of myself and be healthy. The reward, if achieved, is going to be, of course, healthy, but also I'll be prepared for future motherhood. So I am going to be 38 in July, and my boyfriend and I both want children, and so certain steps have to happen to get there. Of course, we need to get engaged in marriage and all of that kind of stuff. But we both want kids the next year or two. And so part of the reason, aside from just needing to be healthy, that I'm really trying to focus on my health is because I hope to be, carrying a child, and I need to make sure that my health is top notch before we embark on that journey. So we may have a new type of planning coming in the future. So this is going to be health. We're gonna just kind of create a little mind map here, and let's call it health and fitness. So there's a couple of different things that I need to do here. One is going to be make an additional doctor appointment. I have a referral, so I need to make an appointment to go over the results of my blood work. The next thing is a goal for, again, remember this is a 3-month goal, this isn't a monthly goal, is going to be ride 100 miles on my Peloton, keep healthy snacks in the house. And then this one is going to be never let the fridge go empty. When I fall behind on grocery shopping and I let the fridge go empty, that's when I tend to do takeout, and I never do healthy takeout. It's just one of those things. I can do it, but it's also a financial thing of stop spending money on food. I have food in the house, but first I have to make sure that I have food in the house. So those are our health and wellness or health and fitness focuses. Goal number 2, we are talking about work. So we're going to write here, shift to a reduced schedule. And this is going to happen this is going to happen as of August. So the first week of August, this is Undated Planner. So this is going to start the week of July 28th. And what it's really going to be, it's not a huge difference, but it's a reduced schedule. So I'm going to be off 1 day per week, which means that I'll have a 20% pay cut in order to be off that 1 day per week. So there's 5 days in the week, 20% is the pay cut that I'm going to have. And why I want it is for more balance and the time to dedicate to growing my business. The reward, if achieved, I'm just going to write, is going to feel like more freedom. That's what that feels like to me. Okay, now I don't need to do a ton of mind mapping here, so I'm gonna go up on the top a little bit. And I'm just using like a cap to a container for this, so you don't really need fancy tools to set something like this up. There's a lot of different ways to mind map, but I like this visual here. Let's fix that a little bit. All right, so this is going to be business and career. So one of the things I'm going to write down here is finish documenting a reference list. This is something that I've been working on since January, actually, because my boss and I have talked about this plan for me since January, but I'm creating a reference list so that anything that comes up throughout each day that I think my team may not know how to handle and they would just come to me for support on, I'm trying to document so that on that 1 day a week, if I'm not working, they're going to be able to answer it without having to wait for me to come back. The biggest adjustment to moving into a 4-day work week for me is going to be trying to figure out how to make sure that the 40 hours that I'm currently working aren't still those same responsibilities, but just in 4 days. I'm a little bit worried that 4 days of work is going to be 4 very, very challenging days of work. And I find that my job is already challenging. So our goal here is to take some of the weight and responsibilities off of me so that I can have that day. So that's the plan there. And then the next thing I'm going to do here is create an ideal schedule for my day off. What does that look like to me? Does it look like spending all day Fridays is when I'm going to be off, spending all day Friday working to grow my business? Does it look like taking some of the responsibilities that are on me throughout the week and pushing them to Friday? A really good example of that is manicures. I don't enjoy getting manicures. I love having my nails done because most of what you see of me is my nails, but I don't enjoy sitting there and getting a manicure, especially after a long work day. So maybe Friday mornings are when I go get my nails done. Not every Friday, of course, every few weeks, but maybe I include that. Maybe it's when I go grocery shopping for the week and then do a little bit of work. Like, what does that day look like to me? And it's definitely going to be something that will change depending on what my responsibilities and needs are that week, but it's something that I want to work on. So goal number 3, we are going to focus on finances. Set a new budget because I'm getting a 20% pay cut. Actually, this 20% pay cut is starting in July, not August, because I need 2 days off in July for a trip and I'm out of my PTO. So the deal that my boss and I made was that we were going to shift to my new 20% reduced pay. I'll get off those 2 days, but I'll work 2 other Fridays to make up for it. So the idea is there's 5 Fridays in July. One Friday is 4th of July. That's a day that everyone is off. And then there's 2 that I need off. So I'm going to work those 2 extra Fridays to earn basically those 2 PTO days. So I need to set a new budget right away, which I've talked about before, but set a new budget and save $1,000. This is going to be towards my extra month of bills because I did finish 12 months of bills. Now I want to hit 13 in this quarter. Why I want it is to continue making progress. Oh, my pen may be coming out a little bit financially. And the reward, if achieved, is going to be financial freedom. A lot of people have different opinions on what financial freedom looks like to them. And for me, financial freedom looks like not being afraid of my finances, not being afraid of my bank account, and being able to buy the things that I need to buy and sometimes buy the things that I want to buy, but also just being prepared for anything else that may come up. So we're going to add a category here for finances. And the first one is going to be create a new budget. The next one is going to be no impulse shopping. And then we'll do set aside money from every paycheck towards my savings goal. All right, next up we have goal number 4 is to map out our year and settle into living together. So here we're actually going to re-map out our year and to get realigned with a new routine. And the reward, if achieved, is continue. I'm just gonna write merging. This may sound like a strange word here, but merging our lives, which is definitely one of those things that being a little bit older in a relationship has been something that I feel like a lot of my friends who are younger when they met their partners didn't really experience because they were still like building their lives. And I think that when you're a little bit older, there's more to merge. So that's what we're gonna do there. Okay, so let's write relationship. Right here with James. So this is going to be kind of in a few different parts. The first part is just for July, and this part is going to be weekly. We're going to try a few things out. So weekly meetings, again, the word meetings is weird here, but weekly meetings to confirm schedules. Over here, I'm going to write delegate housework, which is going to need to change a little bit from our current process. And then here I'm going to write talk about fall, because I feel like a lot of this is really going to be a July and August thing, and then we'll be able to kind of start talking about fall once we're in our new rhythm. And then goal number 5 was about having more connection with other people. I feel like I've been really good about connection with other people, so I'm actually gonna shift back to my 1-year goals and choose a different category to use for that. So I think that I wanna focus on personal development, because while it's an area that I'm doing well in, I think that it's an area that I really wanna focus on more in the next quarter, and I'll explain why as I grab my pen. So my focuses were to read 50 books, daily journaling, and 2 personal development books per month to improve my understanding of both myself and the world around me. So what I'm actually gonna do this is sort of a combination of personal development and just personal, but the goal is going to be create time for myself. And why I want it is we are embarking on a new adventure, really, with this big change. And I want to find me time again. The reward, I'll explain a little bit about what that looks like once we map it out over here. But the reward, if achieved, I just think is better personal balance. Okay, so this one I'm just going to use right in the middle here. So I think that a lot of the adjustment that I had once we lived together was trying to figure out how to spend my time. Like where I would typically read a book or, call a friend or something, we were together. And I would have had no problem if I said, I want to go read for a little while, by myself. But I found that I just wanted to spend all of our time together. And so what I'm trying to figure out is how to dedicate time for me while growing our relationship and our time together. So I'm just gonna write personal time, which sounds like personal time off, or I guess that's paid time off at work. So some of it is going to actually be based on our schedules. So I'm going to write here, choose dedicated me time. And there is some time that's already there that I just have to be better about utilizing. So like Monday nights, James is always out. Wednesday nights, he's typically out, depending on weather, because he has sports and activities. So those times would really be perfect for me to be like, okay, on Mondays, this is when I'm going to do this for myself. And on Wednesdays, this is when I'll do this. And I'm already doing it a little bit, but I haven't really stuck to like a routine for it. So that's going to be one of them. And then I'm going to write work on personal creative projects. Things like printing out photos and writing down the memories and not just keeping everything in my phone, and more like creative journaling and things that just bring me joy that are more crafty and less functional planning. And then the next one is going to be read 12 books just to stay on track with my schedule. So I'm actually just gonna kind of go backwards here to make sure that we're sticking like in line. Read 12 books, and let's do one more for what personal time looks like for me. Plan time with my friends. No partners. All of my friends are in a relationship or married, and so now that I'm in a relationship, we are spending a lot of time doing like double dates, which is awesome and fun, but girls need girl time. So I want to make sure to start to incorporate that as well. I think that I'm in a really good place. I feel like I've balanced kind of leaning into rest and me time while also focusing on things that need to grow, while being mindful that we have a lot of changes that are coming up and trips and weekends away. Not everything is a vacation. Some is just like a quick trip for, 4th of July, or in August, I'm going away for 2 nights for a conference. So just things like that. I think that when you're setting 3-month goals, it's essential to really think about what these 3 months look like for you, because the way that I set goals in January is going to be very push forward, motivate, really firm on my goals. But the way that I'm setting them heading into July and the summer is a little bit more of leaning into rest. So as the year changes, so do our goals. Life changes as well. And hopefully this video gave you some ideas on how you can set up your 3-month goals. We hope that you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Also make sure you're subscribed to our channel and you have that notification bell turned on as well. You can pick up this planner over at cleverfoxplanner.com. Thank you so much again for your support, and we will see you soon.